Sagittarius, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of December. So before I jump into it, this is most applicable for your rising sign, also known as your ascendant. That's how other people perceive you, especially when they first meet you. It's still applicable for your sun sign, which is how you express yourself, and then your moon sign, which is how you process everything internally through that emotional lens. So really understanding all three will give you a better idea on how the month is going to play out for you. But jumping into the energy in December, so we have Neptune, Mercury, and Chiron all stationed direct this month. So kind of a big deal. It's a lot of planets that have been in retrograde going direct. Then we have Mars actually stationed retrograde. So this one's significant because it only happens every 2 years. So we'll talk about that as we get there. And then right away, we have the new moon in Sagittarius. So depending on your time zone, this might impact you on November 30th. For me, in my time zone, so I'm on the Eastern Seaboard, it's December 1st, but it's at 1:21 in the morning, hence the time. So depending on where you are, we'll tell you what day it's going to impact you. But regardless, it's going to impact everybody because it's a new moon, it's going to happen, and it's in the sign of Sagittarius. There's a lot of hope, there's a lot of optimism connected to it, a lot of growth, expansion, seeing the truth. This is all impacting you physically. This is your first house, your house of self. And so I love how this is going to affect you just because of the way that it touches different areas in your chart. There is a trine to Mars and Leo. So when you think about any kind of growth and expansion that you want to do, any actions you need to take to grow and expand who you are. So this could be related to higher education, learning a second language, anything that you, long distance travel, anything that would help you kind of expand your knowledge. Very much a Sagittarius energy. This new moon really helps you in that area. It really helps you to take some sort of action there. It will trine Chiron retrograde in Aries. So Chiron retrograde in Aries, this is that wound that's been coming to the surface, kind of causing us to really take a hard look at why is it there, what caused it, what do we need to do to fix it, how do we move on from it, really move on, not compartmentalize, put it to the side and never to be discussed or looked at again, but really process and move on from this. And so that is sitting in your fifth house. This is your passion projects, children, all the things that you enjoy doing for fun. There is a wound connected to that has been coming to the surface. And this is where, if you want to kind of isolate more of that area, if this is your sun sign, go to your rising sign. Or if this is your rising sign, go to your sun sign. What does this look like? What does that? How can you heal this wound? So anyway, I'll just call that out there. But what I like about this is that the new moon is really helping you to get clear on maybe what caused it. What do you need to do to fix it? This new moon in Sagittarius will create some obstacles and challenges when it comes to working on your ideal home life. And so you've got a home, there's something about it. You always have goals. I mean, everybody does. We all have goals connected to areas of our life. And here, Pisces in the fourth house, any kind of work that you're trying to do at home or maybe better your home environment, it's going to be a little bit more difficult during this time, but it's more because you're very focused on your physical self as opposed to kind of handling something that's bigger than you or outside of you. And because you are focused on yourself, there's an opposition to Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So any kind of internal growth that you're trying to seek as it relates to your significant other, that relationship itself, it's more of, I'm focused on myself right now. What do I need to do? What do I need to grow and expand? Expressing what I want to accomplish here, and not so much on that relationship. Not right now, not at this time. And then we have Mars stationed retrograde in Leo. So that is going to happen on the 6th at 6:33 p.m. Eastern time. And so again, Mars in Leo for you is sitting in your ninth house of growth and expansion. But rather than taking some sort of external action to pursue something here that would help you grow and expand, this is a lot of internal. Okay, what actions do I need to take? Let me get clear on what it is that I need to do so that when Mars stations direct again, I have that better sense of this is the actual action I need to take. During this time, so when Mars stations retrograde, it will trine the sun in Sagittarius. So really getting clear on what action you need to take for your own growth fully aligns with whatever it is that you're trying to grow and expand about yourself. It also trine Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. And so this is about understanding the impact of this kind of overall growth and transformation that you want to go through. What actions do I need to take? Getting clarity there. How is it going to impact me? The clarity there. So a lot of things are going to become clear during this time. And I like the way that this is playing out for you. This Mars retrograde will be opposite Venus in Capricorn. And you're going to see here in a minute, it's actually when Venus moves into Aquarius, a couple hours later, we still see this happening. So any kind of internal action that you're trying to take as it relates to your growth and whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish there, it's going to be opposite anything that you value or that you're trying to or balance within your personal finances. So there might be something here connected to money. Whatever it is, getting clear on action, you might be figuring out, you know what, in order to go after exactly what I want, go back to school, learn a language, long distance travel, all of those are going to require money. And so it could be something along those lines, and that would be the opposition coming into play. This Mars retrograde in Leo will trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so when you're thinking about the goals that you've set for yourself in your home environment, this is going to help you get clear on that, what it is that you need to do, what are the details of those dreams, how do you make them a reality. And then this Mars retrograde in Leo will be opposite Pluto in Aquarius. And so when it comes to the way that you're communicating or anything else that you're trying to do as far as your communication, could be short distance travel, siblings, things like that, but probably more communication than anything else. Whatever action that you want to take for growth and expansion is opposite any kind of transformation. And here's the disconnect. When it comes to transformation, that Pluto energy, it's death and rebirth. What it's doing is it's releasing something to make room for something else. That's about maintaining. Overall, you're maintaining, you're getting rid of to allow something new to come in. As opposed to growth and expansion, the base itself is actually going to grow. And so that's where the opposition is coming into play here. Then we have Venus enter the sign of Aquarius at 1:14 in the morning on December 7th. And so we just had it in Capricorn and now it's in Aquarius energy. And so when it comes to your communication or siblings, things like that, Venus and Pluto are in a conjunction. So where maybe the day before or maybe at different points during this Mars retrograde, you're not going to be that focused on your communication or what is changing in that realm and what you're trying to adjust there. But right now, so like it's going to ebb and flow throughout the time. And here with this Venus in Aquarius, you're going to be more focused on your communication. The way that you want to communicate with people is finding more harmony and balance, expressing yourself in a way that focuses on what you value, making changes there so that you're only having positive instead of positive and negative communication, like kind of releasing the negative there, just as a hypothetical. And that Venus in Aquarius will be opposite Mars retrograde in Leo. And again, it's more of, let me focus on finding harmony and balance as opposed to growing and expanding something, because one is about maintaining or finding some sort of level footing. The other one is, I've already got that, let me grow and expand. And that's where the opposition is coming into play. So you can certainly work with all these opposition energies. It's just because the energy does ebb and flow, which one is the priority for you today? And that would be the way to work on it. We also have Venus trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so Taurus rules your daily life. And so this Uranus energy sitting in the sign of Taurus, these are sudden changes that are meant to break you free from whatever has been holding you back in your daily life, just whatever your routines are, whatever has prevented you from really moving forward. Uranus retrograde is about you internally changing something, your perception of a situation or your approach to a situation. You're adjusting here. And these would be kind of sudden realizations that you're having. So when you're having this balanced conversations or finding harmony in the way that you're communicating with other people, focused on what you value, it's going to aid all of this transition that's happening, all of these changes that are taking place that are really meant to help stabilize you in your daily life and help you kind of focus on what matters the most. And then we have Venus sextile Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so when it comes to your home environment, again, we've got goals all over the place, but Neptune retrograde in Pisces indicates that you're getting very clear on what those goals are. Neptune, when it's been in retrograde, it's about lifting the fog, seeing things clearly, because Neptune can be very ethereal, can be very, the sky's the limit, let's do whatever is possible here. But then Neptune retrograde says, yeah, but is that real? Can I ever really do that here? And so This Venus and Aquarius energy, where you're having these kind of balanced conversations with other people, focusing on what you value, it's creating an opportunity for even more clarity to come in as it relates to your home environment and what you want there. And speaking of Neptune, we have Neptune stationed direct the same day that Venus enters Aquarius. That's going to happen on the 7th at 6:43 p.m. Eastern time. And so Neptune, because it has been in a retrograde, you were getting very clear on your dreams. And now it's about, okay, well, what do I need to do in order to make those a reality? I know what they are. Let's see what I can do here. And that's in your home environment. And so with Neptune direct in Pisces, in your house of home, it's creating an opportunity for changes to happen in the way that you communicate, allowing for more harmony and balance in the way that you talk to other people. Could be something connected to siblings. There could be other things happening here. I mean, you're talking 4th house, 3rd house. This could really be your close family members that you either reside with or are in close proximity to. And so I like how this is playing out, because it's about releasing the old and allowing more of the solid, stable, kind of positive to come into play here. It's also going to easily flow with whatever internal actions that you want to take or you're gaining clarity on that you need to take in order for your own growth. It's also going to create an opportunity for even more changes to take place in your daily life. These are changes that are meant for your own kind of best interest, because it is in the sign of Taurus. So it is about focusing on what's practical, what's real, what do you need here. And then on the 15th, we have the full moon in the sign of Gemini. So that's your opposite sign. That one is going to happen at 4:02 in the morning Eastern time. And because it is your opposite sign, so we've got the sun in your sign. So this is your first house, your physical self. We've got the moon in your opposing sign, Gemini, that is impacting your significant other, that relationship. So if you're married, it's your marriage partner. If you're living with somebody, it's that person, or it could just be really close personal connections here, but it would be those one-on-one, really close connections here. And so because this is an opposite, it's more of, okay, am I focused on myself right now? Am I focused on this relationship because I'm expressing myself that is really more about me versus the way I feel about this relationship or any kind of inner growth that I want within this relationship? Because the sun is not just opposite the moon, it's actually opposite Jupiter retrograde that's impacting your relationship. So when you're trying to understand what you need to do to grow and expand that relationship specifically, the way that you're expressing right now is just directly opposite. And so it's a push-pull energy. You can certainly find a way to work with it. And because the moon and the Jupiter are both in that 7th house, they're actually in close proximity to each other while they're in this house. And so how you feel about that relationship, what you want to grow and expand there, that all fully aligns. It's just more of that kind of push-pull. During this full moon, there's actually a T-square to Neptune and Pisces, which means the way that you're expressing yourself and the way that you feel about your relationship with your significant other, they're both creating challenges to really pursuing any dreams that you have as they relate to your home environment. And it's more of, you're really focused right now on other things. You can certainly work with the energy. If you want to focus on the dreams that you have related to your home environment, pursuing those, you certainly can. You just have to put the effort into it. And then with the sun and the moon, they're actually both in a positive aspect to that wound that's been coming to the surface. So the sun in Sagittarius will trine Chiron, retrograde in Aries, which means the way that you're expressing yourself right now just easily flows with whatever you need to do to heal this wound. There's something that you might be learning about yourself that's helping you kind of figure out, what steps do I need to take in order to heal from that? And the same thing with how you feel about your significant other, that relationship here. It's creating an opportunity for you to also kind of get the clarity you need around that wound. What do you need to do in order to address it? And then the same day as the full moon, we actually have Mercury stationed direct. So still in your sign, Sagittarius, it's been here the entire time. We're actually in the post shadow until January 2nd. And so the energy of that retrograde will dissipate over time. Things will become more clear. Communication will become more clear, all of it. And so because it's impacting your first house, now things are going to become more clear as to who you are, what you want to communicate, expressing yourself. All of that is really coming to the surface now. You might have an easier time expressing exactly what you mean, things that might be happening to you physically. So I like how that's showing up. And it's creating an opportunity for you to really focus on what you love and what you value. So communicating in that way or expressing those kind of things to other people. Mercury will trine Mars retrograde in Leo. So all those internal actions where you're trying to gain that clarity. Okay, what do I need to do to grow and expand? Mercury now direct in Sagittarius is really going to help you there. These two, the energy is going to go back and forth, where the way that you're expressing yourself, what it is that you're trying to accomplish, helps you figure out what steps that you need to take so that when Mars does station direct again, you'll be better armed with information on what exactly you need to do. Mercury will also be opposite Jupiter in Gemini, which is not a surprise. That Jupiter retrograde in Gemini is still sitting in your house of partnerships. So again, focuses on you versus you and your significant other. It's about which one is going to be the priority right now. And with this Mercury being direct, you might just have an easier time expressing yourself as opposed to seeking some sort of inner growth in that relationship. But you can kind of see why. It's not just about that it's a first house, seventh house. So it's a you versus a we, like a me versus we. It's also about outwardly expressing versus inner growth. So one is outward, one's inward. So it's just about where do your priorities lie right now. And that's what's going to be more dominant. With Mercury in Sagittarius, it will square Saturn in Pisces, but also trine Neptune in Pisces. And so what this means is you know what your goals are as they relate to your home environment. And so the way that you're expressing yourself right now, any kind of growth and expansion, these kind of optimistic, high-level conversations, just expressing what you want, who you are, that's going to easily flow. Because you're in a communication and really a thought kind of intellectual phase, it's going to make it difficult to take any action, which is what Saturn is. And so this is where the conflict and kind of challenge comes into play. It's not going to be easy for you to take any kind of action to pursue the goals in that area at home, but you certainly can. You just have to put the effort into it. And then we have Mercury sextile Pluto in Aquarius. And so the sextile to Pluto, and actually to both Venus and Pluto in Aquarius, throughout this entire process, what it's doing is it's giving you more opportunities to modify the way that you communicate with other people. I like how Mercury in Sagittarius is showing up because you might be learning a lot of truth. You might be expressing yourself in a more authentic way. And that's helping you figure out, okay, well, I can express myself this way and I can do it in a way that's very harmonious, very balanced, and comes across in a very positive way, highlighting what I value as opposed to highlighting what I don't. And so that's allowing you to make changes in the way that you communicate with other people. And then we have the sun enter Capricorn. So that's on the 21st at 4:21 in the morning Eastern time. And so this is the solstice. And I've said this in all the videos and I'm not going to stop now, but this, for me personally, love this. I'm in the Northern Hemisphere. And so this means more minutes of daylight every day, which I love. Anyway, when the sun enters the sign of Capricorn, this is going to impact your second house. So this is your personal finances. These would be structures around your finances, focusing on what you value. That is a second house energy. It's not just about money. It could be like collectibles or anything tangible that you actually value. Or I guess not everything is truly tangible these days. You can't go out and touch cash if you don't have it physically on you, but you have numbers in a bank account. So take that as it resonates, whatever that means for you. But it is more about expressing yourself and what you value. That is going to create challenges for any kind of growth conversations that you might be having as it relates to you personally, because it's more about getting grounded and practical and putting a plan into place as it relates to your personal finances, rather than discussing all of these kind of high level, optimistic, future oriented conversations that you might be having. That would be a square. That is the square, but that would be like a hypothetical connected to that conflict or challenge, where it makes it more difficult to talk about growth and expansion because you're more focused on implementing something here, coming up with a strategy and making it a reality. And then on the 29th at 4:13 in the afternoon Eastern time, we have Chiron station direct. And so that wound that's been coming to the surface, it could be related to your passions, children, anything in that realm, anything that you like to do for fun. Anywhere that wound has been coming to the surface, with it stationing direct, all the lessons that you learned when it was retrograde, what was the cause of it? What do I need to do to fix it? Now you're being given this opportunity with it stationing direct. Okay, take all that information and incorporate it, go forward. And that's what this is. And so what's happening is when Chiron stations direct in your 5th house, it will trine both the moon and Mercury in your 1st house. So any kind of conversations you have related to your own growth and expansion, how you feel about that, fully aligns and easily flows with this wound. So there's a lot of using those conversations, this growth oriented, this growth mentality conversations, whatever that content is, will help you address that wound that's been coming to the surface. That Chiron in Aries will also sextile Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. And so that inner growth that you're looking for in your significant relationship here, your marriage partner, if you're married, when Chiron stations direct, it gives you an opportunity for more growth to occur within that relationship. So if it's connected to wounds, this could be like a childhood wound, the inability to have children, that would be another wound connected to the 5th house. Or if there's something where you always wanted to pursue a hobby and you felt very apprehensive about it because you didn't feel like you were talented enough or had the right skill set in order to be able to do it. These would all be wounds, insecurity wounds, things like that, that would be coming to the surface. And there's something about you having this kind of growth and expansive mentality and the way that you want to grow your significant relationship that really do help in that area. And then we have the new moon in Capricorn on the 30th at 5:27 p.m. Eastern time. So we start the month with the new moon, and pretty much at the end of the month here, we have another new moon. This one is in Capricorn, and so it's all going to be about your finances here. And so we've got the sun and the moon both sitting in your 2nd house, which means the money that you have, what kind of plans do you want to put in place? What kind of strategy is really going to work for you? How do you feel about that? Because there is a lot of emphasis here on what you value in your personal finances, and then coming up with a game plan. We also have the sun and moon sextile Saturn in Pisces. So whatever you're thinking of doing as it relates to your personal finances here creates an opportunity for you to really work on that home environment that you want. So hypothetical here would be if you're trying to save money in order to be able to expand your house, renovate your house in some way, that would be something here. So whatever you're putting into place is giving you an opportunity to actually put the work in to have the home environment that you want. So that could be your physical structure. It could be connected to the people that you live with, that home environment itself. So if you're putting in plans into place to maybe spend more time with the people that you value, that would come up here. That would be another connection with putting a plan into place to maybe designate so many hours or make them a higher priority. And so now it's about, okay, now I can work on having that home life that I want. We do have the sun and moon square Chiron in Aries, and so really focusing on what you value or your personal finances here. It's not giving you, I would say it's not giving you an opportunity, but it's making it more difficult for you to really work on that wound that's been coming to the surface. And it's more of, now it's just not the right time. If you want to work on the wound, you can. You just have to put the extra effort in, because this one will require that extra effort. So Sagittarius, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.